Your journey, your speed, your story. Find your pace. Matt Zelaya, welcome to Find Your Pace.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh. I'm
awesome.
so excited because I actually just talked about my experience into the ultra space. And when I signed up for it, you were somebody that I went to a lot for like inspiration, motivation, and just like the energy that you put out is so like endurance-esque that like I needed to put myself in those shoes. So I'm really excited about this conversation. I think there's a lot of people that have no idea who you are and they're going to be like, who the heck is this man? I need to follow him. And then there's going to be people that know who you are and maybe just learn a little bit more about, what it is that you do. But basically, you have built a name for yourself in the endurance world by not only taking on ultra marathons, but also proving that you don't have to choose between strength or endurance and that you can do both. You're also known as someone whose actions speak louder than their words, which I would say is a huge compliment. I would love to cover your journey into fitness, how you found ultra marathons, and what it takes to train at the level that you do. So let's just start with, what did your fitness look like for you when you were growing up? Were you always athletic?
Well, yeah, first off, thank you for that introduction there and the kind words. That does mean a lot. Was I always athletic? Yeah, I played football, baseball, basketball up until I got to high school. Once I got to high school, that was strictly football. I ran a little bit of track. Freshman year, because I ran a 5K with my family once, and I did it in like the low 20s, having no clue if that was good or not. I was like 14, 13, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I decided to do long distance freshman year of high school. And then once my coaches found out, they were like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to do long distance and then play football. Like, you got to be a sprinter. And I'm like, okay. And then I tried that sophomore year. And then I never had that breakaway speed. So I just cut it. I probably should have stuck with it in the grand scheme of things. But from there, just played football into college and everything. So yeah, I would say always athletic, always climbing things, always doing crazy stuff.
When you say breakaway speed, what does that mean?
In football, I'm more of you can't tell because I'm sitting down, but shorter guy, so like right around 5'7", so very quick in and out. But like if we're in a straightaway race, I'll win for like the first 20 to 30 yards and then usually just get passed up as people get into their full stride and everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, I would never guess that because who you are now and what I know now, you're very fast.
Yeah, I guess it's relative to the distance.
Do you think you got faster as you got older?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely stronger in certain ways and more explosive in my like college football, high school football career. But overall, just fitness-wise, I've definitely learned a lot more, and then just learning a lot more has gotten me to feeling probably the best I've ever felt fitness-wise now.
Was there ever a moment when you decided to take training a little bit more seriously?
During?
Just life.
Yeah.
Like post-high school, post?
Yeah, I mean, I went to, the high school I went to was, at the time, they were a top high school in the country for football, like top 15 ranked usually. And I went there to play football, but I didn't anticipate on having the career I had. Once I saw what I was getting into freshman year, that's where like a flip kind of just switched. And I was like, I need to do more than everyone around me because I was like 5'5", 130 pounds soaking wet. And that's just not going to fly on a football field with guys that are going Division I across the board. So from there on, I didn't acknowledge it, but I knew I just had to now study the playbook more. I had to do everything right. I couldn't make any mistakes because any chance they got, get the short guy off the field, basically. Like we have somebody else taller, better, like we'll put him in. And then that kind of just got the work ethic going. And especially junior year, I came in like 4th on the depth chart for varsity, ended up starting that year, and then starting my senior year, became a captain my senior year, redshirted my freshman year of college, and then played a lot my sophomore year. And again, playing with guys. A few of the guys went on to play in the NFL. Same in high school. A few of my teammates went on to play in the NFL. So like very good talent around me. And every time, because I was a captain senior, every time we go out for the coin toss, I mean, it's just everybody else, and then I'm like down here, and then everybody else is up there. It's honestly funny looking at pictures, but from there on, I just knew I had to do more than everybody around me if I wanted to get a chance, because I didn't have the intangibles. I wasn't 6 foot. I didn't have a fast 40-yard dash. I was strong for my size, relatively, but I just didn't have what anybody else had, really. So it was there on out, it was a grind, and that kind of got me into, once the sports ended, that work ethic stayed there, and I guess it kind of was a fire under me of what got me to where what I'm doing now.
I think that's really cool though, because there were so many things that are out of your control, right? We can't choose our height. We can only
Yeah.
choose, to do make with what we have, right? So you basically were like, okay, I'm not 6 foot. I'm not 200 plus pounds. I have to be the best that I can be with what I have. And so I feel like that is what, I feel like people can go one of two ways with that. They could either be a victim to
Mm,
their shortcomings, no pun intended,
mm.
or they
That's good.
or they do what you do and you take what you get and you work hard and you just be the best that you possibly can be. I mean, again, where you are today, it has to have come from the mindset that you created when you were younger. And so I
Yeah,
think that's really cool.
I think that's what a lot of people don't see, but yeah, that's why I always love just sharing it because that was a big part of all this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What drew you into endurance sports specifically?
It's a good question. It's a question I got to actually like think about because I think what it is my something I do every year is in order to figure out where my next A goal is. So the next big goal for the year. Can there be like a few A goals for the year? Yes. Do I recommend that? No. Once I got the first big one, like running a half marathon, then I was like, okay, what's harder than that? Let me do a marathon. I'm like, okay, can I do sub 3 marathon? I'm like, okay, let's go for that. Okay, now what's outside of that? Jump to an Ironman, and then okay, what's outside of that? It's like I got to run 100 miles now, And so it just the question I ask myself every year is this goal bigger? Is it harder than what I did last year? Is it whether it's going for a longer amount of time or whether it's going same distance but going for a faster speed? Is it something I've just never done before? And following that over the past 4 years has taken me across the world, and I've done some pretty crazy things in the endurance space. And yeah, it now I don't bat an eye if like let's say if you were to tell me tomorrow, Matt, you got to go run 50 miles. I'm not nowhere near the volume I should be for that, but I'm sure I'll be able to do it just because again, it's like once you do these things, it's your mindset on it, your view on it changes so much.
Why do you think that you try to continue to do harder and harder goals?
The reward from it. I think there's so many benefits of playing team sports my entire life. I mean, when I have kids down the road, like sports, they're gonna at least one sport. Pick something, find something you love. Ideally, not football, even though I love football, just for safety reasons. The team sport aspect of it, you can learn a lot about yourself, but you're relying on other people around you. Like when you're doing endurance sports, even marathons or anything, you have to train on your own. You have to train when you don't want to. You have to train in all the conditions. You have to race in all the conditions. You have to do everything without anybody pushing you to do it. They could cheer for you, they could hold a sign on the side, but when you're 50 miles into the Leadville 100 and you can barely take a full inhale, your right knee is about to give out, you're clocking a 35-minute mile and you're on the hardest climb of the race and you're barely halfway through the race, who's going to push you to do that? And so when you find those moments in these big races, it's like that is the reason why I keep coming back for it. But it doesn't happen it only happens in race day. And it's the big drastic moments in race day, which I love. Don't get me wrong, training makes you who you are. Like the whole training block you go through, you learn a lot, you grow a lot, but race day is where you really like can see if that person really did what they said they were going to do and put it on show. So yeah, it's just it fires me up. I love the difficulties of it. It's kind of a little crazy the way I talk about it sometimes, but
It's almost like an addiction.
it is I would say it is, because there's people ask me like, all right, well, if you're finding something harder than the level 100, like you got to tap into like 200-mile races. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And that is going to have to be a conversation with my mom, because she doesn't like anything that I do with this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is an addiction, I guess, but it's a good one because I would not be anywhere near the person I am today outside of just athletics and fitness, like just how we talk, how I walk in a room, could make a friend with somebody, how I could hold a conversation here, or if I have a load of work to do outside of fitness and getting it all done. Like there is so many areas where I guess just doing hard things just to keep it simple translates into just everyday life. And I know you know that too, and you experienced that, and same with Trevor. And it's once you find that little taste of it, it's like, okay, I want to see a little bit more. And I mean, I've learned so much. I keep learning more about myself every time. And there's a laundry list of things I've done, but it just keeps growing. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that I responded that way or this or that. So yeah.
I think that's a really important part. What you just said is like, you're constantly learning. Like you could do a million marathons, and every single marathon, you're going to learn something a little different about yourself because it's never going to be the same. No race is ever going to be the same point A to point B. Even if you do the exact same route, it'll never be the same. Like you're always going to find something a little different. And I think that that's really cool because you're going to continue to carry that into your training and into your next race. And there's always going to be surprises. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I do want to ask you really quick because I think this will be an interesting fact. How old are you?
I'm 26.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
26.
Think for a second.
How did you decide that fitness wasn't just something that you do for yourself, but it was something that you can make a career out of?
That's a great question too.
I'm prepped.
Yeah, no, I mean the stack of cards there is it's serious. I knew you'd be prepped though. I knew coming into this we were gonna have a good chat. How did I decide fitness was something I was gonna make a career out of? I don't think I did decide it initially in the moment, like, hey, I'm just gonna go all in on this. It was just once football ended prematurely, just because I had too many head injuries, and I told the story a handful of times, but had too many concussions over time, and I just felt like I had a fog around me and my emotions were all out of whack. I didn't feel like a real human for probably like a year or so. So I had to stop. And like my ex-girlfriend too, like she was the one that brought it up to me, was I would repeat myself a million times in conversations. I wouldn't have any recollection of ever doing what she said we did and this and that. And I'm like, okay, this is a problem. And not only a problem for me, problem for us, problem for all this. So problem for my family. I need to cut this. And then from there, I just still had that hunger to do something. I had a lot of play left in me. I still feel like I could throw pads on and go out on a field and run some routes and do whatever. But I just had a lot of hunger, and then it was finding something. And then that's where, I got into American Ninja Warrior for a year, and then competed in little competitions there, was on the show on season 11.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a 3-year short little period before I got into all the running and everything. So it was, I was on American Ninja Warrior season 11. That's what saved me, truthfully, because when I stopped playing football, I could talk about it now because I'm out of it and I, feel a lot better, but severely depressed. And I didn't realize in the moment how bad it was, but it was really bad. And that was like my saving grace. If that didn't work, I had no clue what I was doing. I was maybe going to drop out of college. I had no drive to be going to school anymore because I'm like, I was here to play football. And I had like a 3.7 GPA, like I was good in school. And all that drive went out the window. And then getting that call, I remember it was in the dining hall in college, and I saw the 818 number pop up on my phone, and I had that number written down on my whiteboard every single day, looked at it every day. And the second I saw it, I literally started crying because of just how much, like, I knew that was going to help me with some direction. Went into American Ninja Warrior, competed a little bit there. I was competing in other leagues around the area just to kind of keep going, because American Ninja Warrior is like once a year. So there was other little leagues that I would compete in. And then I tried to get on for season 12 the next year. I got on, then it was the COVID year. So then they cut me off because they cut like 3/4 of the people that got the call. And then I applied for season 13 because they told me to. And they changed the whole format around, didn't get the call. And so that's where I was like, okay, let me try some Spartan races. And then I placed like top 10 in the 2 that I did. Again, I had no clue, what I was doing. I just knew it had similar obstacles to American Ninja Warrior, and I thought I could run. I did. And then I asked my mom and my sister, I was like, do you guys want to run a half marathon? Because I was like, okay, what's next after that? I thought I could run. And they were like, I mean, yeah, but like, we got to train. They're like, when is it? I'm like, it's in 30 days, but it's in Disney though. Like, we could go to like Epcot and like, we could,
make a trip out of it.
Yeah,
It's Disney.
Yeah. And somehow, some way they said, yeah. I guess that honestly was a little bit of foreshadowing because my mom is still competing. My sister's, doing high rocks and everything. And so that was, I guess, a start for them too, in a way. But we ran the Disney half marathon, wine and dine Disney marathon, or half marathon, excuse me. And I finished in 1 hour and 36 minutes. But again, I had no clue if that was good. I ran with a GoPro in my hand and attached it to my chest, and I would stop to take pictures with the Disney characters if there was no line.
Yeah.
And then just book it out because I had no clue how to train for it. I ran at race pace, whatever felt hard.
Yeah.
3 days a week, 3, 5, and 7 miles. And I was like, okay, that should be enough. I did that, and then, from there went to the next thing, which was the marathon. But then that's where it kind of started. I was like, I kind of want to document my journey a little bit and post a little bit about it, because I knew at the beginning I wanted to just help people. I just didn't know how. I started posting like motivational videos in college after football ended. That was like what broke the wall down to like talk on a camera. And then that didn't really grow at all or anything like that because there was no like reels or TikTok or anything. So it was just if your post got shared, that's how you're going to get followers.
Yeah.
And that broke the wall down to then allow me to just get in front of a camera and start documenting stuff. And one thing led to the next. Got maybe a brand deal and then did this, did that. And I was like, hey, maybe this could be something. And it wasn't until like literally last year where I was like, this kid isn't a full-time thing. It can't be. And then last year, a lot of things changed. And I was like, okay, I guess I could really do this full-time and just compete, and make it a career.
Yeah. Were you posting on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your full-time job right now is like a fitness social media creator. Is that correct?
Well, yes, social media creator. Like I have my manager that we were just talking about. I do online coaching. I'm coaching close to like 30 athletes right now. So that was a goal of mine to build it up this year because I was going to put more time into that. And I mean, I love everybody that I'm coaching. They're all amazing athletes. And then I just got the head coach role at a gym in Teaneck in New Jersey.
I saw that.
Yeah, at a top-notch performance club, one of my good friends, Tyler. The second I stopped coaching at a group fitness gym called Alpha Fit Club to pursue social media full-time and coaching, he was like, I'm opening up a gym and I want you to be the head coach. And I'm like, well, I can't say no to that. So that's right now, that's what we're doing. We're kind of trying to build up the business from ground zero right now on top of social media and coaching.
Yeah. Okay. So basically throughout or after college, you go to Ninja Warrior and then you're getting into half marathons, you're posting on social media, your experience essentially. You have this in the back of your mind that you want to be helping people. And so social media has helped you do that by basically just telling your story and sharing what you're doing. And then in the same time, while your social media is growing, you're getting brand deals, you're also now building a coaching business that you're personally helping. And I know someone specifically who you've been helping that I'm friends with. And it's been really cool to see her grow and, get faster. And now she's trying high rocks and like doing all these things. I was not surprised when she was teasing a race. I said, if Matt's your coach, I know exactly what you're getting into. But so I think that's really cool because a lot of people obviously build their businesses on social media. You started on social media and then built a business where some people are starting a business and then building a social media. So I think that that's really cool how you did it authentically. Like it's literally like you just started posting about yourself to help people. Maybe there's people who wanted to do what you're doing and now you have 30 plus clients, you're a head coach. Like that's so cool.
I never thought, I thought the people that do this full time, you needed like 500,000 followers, you needed this, you needed that. Like a manager was not even a thought in my head. Like I'm not big enough to have a manager. Like that's crazy. And it wasn't until recent where I was like, I have been actually missing out on a lot of opportunities because I didn't have a manager. I didn't know how to negotiate myself. I'm the type of person where I would do everything for free if I could. Somebody's like, hey, we want you to post this video. We'll send you a free water bottle. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it for you. I'll post a whole video for you. And yeah, it just, I wasn't aware to it until I actually gave it a chance and was like, okay, wait, this can actually build into something. And yeah, I mean, it's how crazy that I could just, this is my career where I could just post about what I do and build a following from that and build a business off that. And it's just documenting is really what it comes back to. And it honestly all started because as my memory was getting worse and I noticed that, I was like, I need to start journaling. I need to start writing down things that I do. So I've been journaling for almost 6 to 8 years now. And then I was like, I'm gonna just take videos of everything and I might as well post them. And so that's where the documenting part of everything came into it. So that it's just a video journal essentially to just come back on years down the road.
Yep. You're going to have a digital diary of everything that you did and how cool that like when you're 80 years old, you'll literally get to watch it back. Your kids will be able to watch, your grandkids, everybody's going to be able to watch all this back. It's
video proof instead of saying like, oh, I, climbed the mountain, I did this, I ran this marathon. It's like here, whole YouTube series on it. Like,
when it comes to social media, do you feel like there is extra pressure that comes from that?
In what way? Pressure to perform?
External pressure. Yeah. Just from people, right? Because you post everything that you do. And you also post things before you do them. And so in that regard, when it comes to that and you're out on the race course or you're out training, do you feel like, okay, you're basically reporting back to these people, right? Your followers. Do you feel like there's pressure that comes from that?
I used to. I used to, but I'm at the point now where every race I do, for the most part, whatever the time is, and it sounds cliche, but whatever the time is when I finish, I know just from having so much race experience now, given that day, that was everything I had in my body. If I missed the PR by 30 seconds or if I PR'd by 5 minutes, that is what I had. Leadville 100, that is a 24-hour, 47-minute finish. That is what I had that day. And if you saw me, I wish there was more videos of the last 12 miles. Like that was it. And I said I wanted to go under 24 hours. I didn't do it, but the big belt buckle was under 25 hours. And there was many goals where I said I wanted this, like I wanted a sub 250 marathon in Jersey City 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. And I got 2 hours, 50 minutes and 30 seconds. I missed it by 30 seconds, but it was but it was, no excuses, but week 2 of that prep, I herniated my disc and didn't change the race. We just kept going. Ran everything on the treadmill from there on out. Barely did any speed work.
Oh my God.
Until I was actually able to run. The one day I felt good and back didn't hurt was race day. And so I was like, we're just going to gun it and see what happens. There were so many races where the conditions were not perfect for me to do what I did in a way. Like if you were to say, hey, here's the conditions you have. This is bothering you. That's bothering you. You have a herniated disc, whatever it is. You have asthma. You're 12,000 feet above sea level. You have to run this race now. The inhaler's not working. Your oxygen is dropping below 80. It's like, what are you going to do now? And so what I've learned with social media is nobody cares about like any of those little excuses. Mm-mm. Nobody cares about any of it. And so I stopped just mid-race just feeding into any of that. And so that's why I know like when I run a race, I am ready to just put everything on the line there. Like just go for it all. And yeah, there was pressure. I used to feel pressure, but I'm so secure with myself right now where I don't, if anybody has something to say, it's, you'll never get hated on by somebody, I don't want to say below you, but somebody that hasn't done what you've done before.
Yeah.
So, it's, you'll never get hated on by people above you basically, or people that are experts in the ultramarathon world or experts in the marathon world. So I don't really bat an eye to it truthfully, but I did feel it initially. But like I said, I just came back to being so secure with myself and how I race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say personally too, when I first started posting about my racing, I felt a lot of external pressure.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. And because people will tell you what happened and they weren't even there. It's like, how do you know what happened on course? Like I'm giving you 60 seconds of a 24-hour marathon, right? Like, or a race, a 24-hour race. You don't know all of the things that went on and you weren't on that course and you didn't experience the heat or the elevation and all of these things. And they're coming up and they're going to do that no matter what, right? No matter what. You could have hit the goal, whatever it is that you wanted. And people will still say that it wasn't good enough or you could have done this differently. And I think anyone who maybe is starting on social media, I think this is a really good point to make is like that will change the longer that you're in this game if you decide to stay longer in this game because you'll eventually just stop caring and remember that the only pressure really needs to come from yourself. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like we do that enough. I feel like you probably put so much pressure on yourself. Like you don't need anyone else. It's there regardless. You're getting pressure. I kind of, last bit on it, I just remind anybody who like, whether it's my girlfriend, whether it's somebody else, like I'm so nervous for this race. I'm like, run this race as if you were the only person on earth. Whatever happens, that's you. It's just you. Only you have to deal with that. Like it's as long as you know you're giving everything you got. If you're the only person on earth right now, you're running this race. What are you gonna do? And it's like, and how are you gonna feel after whatever that finishing time is? Then that doesn't matter. Whatever anybody else says does not matter. Then after that, I love that. It's like the saying, it's you versus you. Yeah. No, it literally is. Yeah. Yeah. I think we can just we drowned out by all of the social media and everyone else's opinion. So I think it's always bringing it back to it's you versus you. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Do you have a life outside of training right now? Yeah. What does that look like? Yeah. I walk my dog. Not kidding. I make sure I have my fun. I make sure, I will say I should go on more trips that aren't racecations. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to Elizabeth about this because everywhere we've gone, in the first year of us dating, I think we went to like, I don't know, over 10 different states just for races. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we need to actually set like actual vacation and like go somewhere where one of us aren't racing. Yep. And I go out for my friends' birthdays. I'm not going out as much as I used to like 2 years ago, but I'll drink, I'll do this. I stopped being so hard on myself. Like, oh, I'm in prep. I can't drink. I can't have fun. I can't do this because again, I'm very secure that like
I can have a drink tonight and go run whatever I need to do tomorrow morning because the work is always going to get done no matter how I'm feeling because I just has disassociated that. However I'm feeling is not going to stop me from doing the work set out in front of me. And so I have my fun. I go
wonder
do I go
if
do
that'll
whatever.
change when you hit 30 years old.
You know, people are saying that.
Yeah, when you have one drink and you're like the next morning, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it hurts
Yeah.
so bad. It's crazy. Because even when I was 21, you know, I would know people in their 30s and they would say that to me, like, just wait till you get
Yeah.
older. Everyone always says that. No matter what age you are, there will always be somebody that says, just wait until you're older.
I can't
But
wait
as
till I'm older to
it's so
debunk
fun.
a lot.
Yeah.
Not that specific
Yeah. Oh,
thing, 'cause
debunk a lot.
alcohol,
Yeah.
alcohol is definitely, and like
Yeah.
drinking is definitely like, you know, definitely has its effects,
Mhm.
but like debunk the other things like, oh, wait till like, you know, your body slows down a little bit. I'm like, well, I'm not slowing down.
Yeah.
I can't say that right now. I'm 26, you know,
Yeah.
because you're not going to believe me, but I will come back to you when I'm 40, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and we'll have this conversation again.
I believe you. Literally, what I know, like I say,
Yeah.
you're somebody whose words match their actions. How has fitness changed you as a person?
It's changed everything. I was just having this conversation before I came here with Tyler. I don't know where my life would be if I decided to just not pursue or give a shot at American Ninja Warrior. There was no guarantee that if I submit that application video and fill out the 30-page application they had, that I was going to get the call. 30,000 plus people try to get on that show. And I was one of like 100 for that location. And so it's like the chances were very slim. So if I didn't give myself that chance to do it, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. I'd be a completely different person. Would have gone to job right out of college. Would have, not that that's a problem if anything I'm saying here, but would have gone to job. Would have raced still a little bit, maybe, but I wouldn't be anywhere near the person I'm at. I wouldn't have impacted the amount of people that I have. I wouldn't have had traveled all over the world at my age. I wouldn't have done all these things that I've done. So it would be extremely different. But it also is like, well, if I wake up tomorrow and for some reason I can't run for the rest of my life anymore, it's like, what is my life going to look like now after I built up this career of fitness? It's like, do people just know me for fitness, or do they know me for Matt and like everything that comes within that? So it's stuff I've thought about too recently, because it's like, we are lucky enough to continue racing and continue doing these things for years. But it's like, one day if it's gone like that, like have I built enough trust with people where it's like, hey, he can't race anymore, but like, still love him. I was still gonna rock with him and whatever he's doing and support him and this and that. So yeah, my life would have been very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Agree. But I do have to say that if it would never happen, but if for some reason you weren't able to ever do what you do now, the resume you've built in the fitness space will carry you for the rest of your life regardless. And you'll probably still be training people at 90 years old when you're 90 years old.
Maybe.
You literally will.
Maybe.
I'm telling you right now, that's what's going to happen.
Do you feel like your life would have been, if you didn't get into racing? You were doing triathlons, right, when you first started?
No, I started, my very first race was a 5K. It was
Right,
actually
okay.
called the Commitment Day 5K because it was January 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So my life, I grew up in sports like you.
Yeah.
I had a dad who was, rub some dirt on it, you're fine. Get up and get like,
That's a good
I'm
dad.
getting smacked with a softball in the head in the batting, box, and I have to go run, and he's like, suck it up. Like then he hit, I'll never forget this one time. I get hit by a softball. He's on first base. He's a coaching first base. This was travel ball, not high school. I get down and I'm like trying to get my stuff together. What does he do? He smacks me on the helmet, says, suck it up.
Yep.
I just got hit in the head. That is my father.
Yeah.
And so even like I just said this when I DNF'd, within hours after that race, he's like, what's next? So I definitely feel like no matter where I am, my dad has just conditioned me that's like, fitness is life. Fitness is such it's not who I am. I don't want it to like define me, because there probably could be an opportunity that one day I'm not running or doing anything like that. But growing up in sports, being in a team setting, doing sports that are solo, it just conditions your brain to just be badass
going,
and like nothing, when you're saying like when you're in the middle of this race and you're like, literally, you can't even think straight. You're like, I'm in so much pain. Like, how am I going to finish? That carries you into day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
that's why when people say, oh, it's not that serious, I'm like, well,
it is.
it absolutely is.
It absolutely is. Yeah, no, I can't imagine a life without fitness.
Yeah.
I never want to.
Yeah.
And I want my kids to be in sports. Like I'm going to let my father smacking heads, So we know a lot about you, how you got to where you are today. But we really haven't talked about I mean, you've mentioned obviously Leadville, but we haven't really talked about the races like specifically.
Okay.
And I do want to mention that I talked to some people because I was like, that know you. I was like, if you could describe Matt, give me like some pieces. Like, what would you say? And so your peers would describe you as a sub-elite athlete, meaning you're so good at so many things that if you just chose one, you would likely become an elite athlete in that specific category. But instead, you choose to be so good at so many sports. When did you realize that you didn't want to just specialize in one sport and instead be good at everything?
Well, that's crazy. I don't look at myself like that at all. Um,
That's sad. I wish that you would because like even myself, like I had to look up the term sub-elite athlete because I was like, what does that mean? That doesn't sound nice.
yeah, it doesn't sound like
It
Matt.
is actually it's a compliment. It
Yeah.
literally means that you are it's the middle ground between a normal athlete, like I'll just say me, like just someone who can do a lot of things but isn't like great. Like I'm not qualifying. I'm not podium. Like that's not me. And then elites meaning like Olympians, like they're actually going
Yeah.
and doing these things, right? You're in between that. There's not a lot of people that border, and that's you. And so that's saying like that's a huge
Yeah,
compliment.
no, I mean, that means the world to me. I really do appreciate that. I think, truthfully, I think the reason why I don't see myself as that is really comes back to my memory because I don't, when I do these things, I don't like think about them forever. Like I do it and I'm like, oh, that was awesome. Like I'll pat myself on the back. I'll give myself the recognition like that I want for me. Like I've appreciated this enough and like, let's get on to the next thing. And is it a bad mindset? Yes and no, but it's, like having these conversations, people remind me sometimes of like some of the things I've done and
Oh, I did that.
yeah, and it's even having my friends and they're like, man, remember when you did this and like remember when you did that and my girlfriend too, like yeah, I don't think I can't pull it where I'm like, oh yes, I did all these things, like all right, I'm good now. I just I guess to answer your question about just like focusing on one thing, I never wanted to stick to one thing because I didn't chase because I never chased one thing. I just chased what is harder than what I previously did. And I didn't, I guess, discriminate what area of fitness that would be in. Is it an Ironman when I've never done a swim workout in my life? Is it a 100-miler where I don't know if I could do that? Is it, just going fast for a marathon? Like, how fast can I go now? I just never really set my mind on like, hey, I'm just going to stick to this. I'm in high rocks right now doing all that. And I love it because of how hard it is. And I'm not at the front, I'm not like winning these races and stuff. Not that I ever was in like marathons or anything, but it's cool to like say I have a lot of room to grow here. And it is hard, especially in the pro division. It is, those guys are big. They move the weight fast. I'm small. I do not move the weight fast. I could run fast, but there's I think that's one thing I love about it is that there's so much more room to grow there. But the High Rocks journey is coming to a close in June, and then I'm going to focus on other things. But that's the thing. I had a handful of people come up to me. They're like, dude, I'm so happy you're actually like just doing one thing for the next few months. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it feels good. I do feel a lot of progress whenever I give myself a certain amount of time rather than just like 12 weeks here, 10 weeks here, 8 weeks here. So yeah, I mean, I do appreciate that, but I just, I never really thought about that. I've thought about it where like, hey, maybe I should stick to ultras or maybe I should stick to marathons or whatever it is. But I don't know. There's so
I
much
think
more.
you just like the challenge of trying new
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I love being a beginner in anything.
Yeah.
And I love saying like, I just have no clue how I'm going to get this done. And I think there's a lot of power of when you sign up for something and that is truly what you believe and then you actually do it. That's what I became addicted to. It's like when I sign up for Leadville, I have no clue how I'm going to get this done. No shot at all. And then you do it. You do it in the time that you wanted. You get the big belt buckle, you do it. I'm going to sign up for a sub 250 marathon, at Wine Glass last year. Didn't really have a full block coming into it. Was taking my Leadville fitness. It's like, okay, I don't know if I could do it right now. I've done some big runs, but I have no clue if I could do it. And then end up doing it. And that was probably the hardest marathon I've ever ran in my life. I was in pain from mile 7 on, which is, if anybody's ran a marathon, it's
a long
usually
time.
you don't hit the wall until like later in the race.
It's a long
way
time
later
to
in the
be in
race.
pain.
I texted Elizabeth at mile 7. I was like, I don't feel good at all. Everything felt hard. Nothing. Usually you feel smooth in the beginning in these races. You feel like you're settling in. There was no settling
First 7 is usually the warm up.
in. Yeah. I just, I guess that answers the question. I don't know. I never
I like
really
that
looked at
you
myself.
said you like to be a beginner at things because most people would be the complete opposite. People like to be good at things, and then they usually stick with that because no one likes to feel like they're bad at anything, right? When we're kids, we're bad at everything, and then we learn it, and then we usually kind of just gravitate towards whatever it is that we're good at.
Yeah.
You being an adult, being 26 years old, to love to be a beginner is really fascinating because I would say 90% of the world is not like that. But I think that is a lot of endurance athletes too, is you like to be beginners at things because you don't usually start with a 100-miler. You usually start with a half and then a marathon. And then it's like, ultra. But ultra is basically anything over 26. So maybe you go 50K, then 50, 100, and just keeps climbing. And no matter what, even though you're a runner, everything is still a beginning of something, right? And now you've done so much, but it's like almost like, what's left, right? Like what honestly is left? What are some of the biggest mistakes that you've made trying to balance lifting and running?
Biggest mistakes.
Maybe like early on, like maybe when you were doing football, so obviously you were running and lifting, but like, let's just say past outside of football, you're getting into running, you do a half marathon and you're like, okay, wait, I need to be balancing running and lifting.
I think the biggest mistake would be still lifting like a football player for so long and not lifting like a runner. Yeah.
I preach all the time that you need to be lifting and strength training for the sport that you are in.
Absolutely.
People that, like, if you're lifting to be a football player, and I don't want to fault people for doing this because this is just genuinely no one talks about this. My dad, 60 years old, still lifts like he did in the 80s.
Absolutely.
We've learned a lot from then to now. If you're running, you need to be strength training specifically to running. Most people don't know that running is a single leg sport.
Yep.
Most, like, you say that,
that,
running doesn't come from a squat. Like, I mean, obviously it's going to help. Like, there's things that help, but like, if you're swimming, you're going to be lifting differently. If you're playing football, you're going to be lifting differently. And I say that all the time. And I'm like, when is it going to click?
Yeah.
You know? Oh, no, I love that you said that.
Yeah.
So basically, like, you were just struggling to get out of the football.
I think that's what it was. Cause I'm like, I love how much I could bench. I mean, I couldn't really squat anymore after I hurt my disc. I didn't deadlift or squat for like 2 years after that. Until like recently, because I actually have to strengthen out my posterior chain for high rocks, you know?
Yep.
And so I just lifted like a football player for so long, and I didn't want to lose those gains, but I'm like, it's not that I have to lose it, because truthfully, the strongest I ever was 2 weeks before Leadville 100.
Fascinating.
Like, I put up PRs in the gym that I've never hit before in my entire life, which makes no sense. You're at the peak week of your biggest race ever, the most miles you've ever ran for this amount of time, and you're lifting the most you've ever done. So it's like right there, I've just debunked a lot of things initially, but I'm very, very big on training, like, for what I'm
the sport you're in,
lifting for what I'm training for. Yeah.
What would you say for men? Because I feel like this is more of like, I say male ego a lot these days. The male ego, when if they, let's say they are just powerlifting or they're crossfitting and they are doing that, then they want to pivot into high rocks. You got to learn how to run, and you got to run fast, or maybe they don't want high rocks, maybe they just want to run or whatever. What would you say to like men that just might be struggling with not doing the really, really heavy lifting and instead maybe losing some mass, but still staying strong and getting into?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how good you want to be at whatever you're pivoting to. Like, if you want to actually be competing, you need to adjust your training for that. You know, you can't kind of grab in both areas and be the best at this area and this area at the same time. It's I think there's a give and take, but it's all in seasons. Like, you could lose a little bit of mass to train for a marathon, and you could work on building it back up, do like a build next year or something like that. People are their timeline is very shortened in their minds, where it's like, oh my God, I'm losing weight, I'm losing size, like, I can't do that. That's okay right now. And now if you're losing weight too fast, obviously we'll figure that out. You know, maybe we'll eat more, we'll do this, whatever, there's fixes. But if your training is just naturally putting your body into that state, let it go. That's probably what it feels to be most efficient. And then you'll figure it out after that season's done. You know? And so people just got to broaden the timeline, and it takes a lot of the stress away.
You signed up for a full Ironman without ever doing a triathlon before. Is that correct?
So here's the thing with that. I signed up for my first Ironman without doing a triathlon before. Yes. In that training blog, I did a sprint triathlon just briefly.
That's nothing.
Okay. All right. So then
that's not nothing. Let me clarify. That is something, but comparing a sprint to a full, vastly different. As someone who has done a sprint and has done a half.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people would like to understand where that decision came from and how training went.
Yeah, so a lot of triathletes, if there's any that listen to this, they're gonna be like, "Don't listen to this guy. He's
Agree.
it's not ideal." But it's a lot of my races. It's like
Hmm.
you shouldn't be doing this, but you did it. You shouldn't be doing this because this, and that, but you did it. So the Ironman, after I ran my first marathon, I'm trying to get the timeline right because there's a lot of races. But after I ran my first marathon, I took a little bit of time off, and I don't know if I was watching David Goggins stuff or some other thing, Nick Bear, whatever it is. I signed up for a full Ironman for May, and that was in, ooh, it was like in the middle of the country. I forget where though,
Hmm.
and it wasn't like a nice location or anything. And it was for May. I wanted to do one on my birthday. Wasn't gonna do a half. Went right to the full because I'm like, whatever.
Go
Again,
big
I
or go
was
home.
very, I didn't, wasn't aware as to the magnitude of an Ironman.
Hmm.
2 months into training, I tear a ligament in my ankle. I was playing flag football. Oh no, excuse me. That was when I tore my PCL. Um, that might have been it though. I'm trying to think. No, I did tear a ligament in my ankle. I was coaching a kids class on just speed and agility, and I was doing a single leg box jump, and my foot just rolled over, and the ligament snapped. And so the Ironman then had to get pushed to November, but I already had my sub 3 marathon date for September. 12 weeks out from that race, I started into a prep. So I came in from no miles at all. And that's where I found my coach that I was working with at the time. I was like, hey, I want to go sub 3. I have no base coming into this. Just came off an ankle injury. Can we do this in 12 weeks? She's like, well, I've never had anybody do that before because she was just getting the coaching. But she was like, we could do it. And I'm like, sure, let's go for it. And so I bought into the training. I trusted. That's the big thing with a lot of people. They don't trust the training throughout the whole thing, like see it through. And we did sub 3. I did a 2:55:05. The Ironman was 6 weeks after that race. Throughout that entire marathon prep, I did not ride a bike. I did not swim. I just ran. But I had a bad hamstring tendonitis, like right behind my knee,
Yeah.
right where the hamstring and the calf connect, kind of. And so I did not swim or bike until 6 weeks out. And all of my swimming was done in the LA Fitness pool, no open water swimming. All of my biking was done on a indoor trainer, a Zwift. I never took my bike off that trainer until I had to ship it out to Arizona. The one time I was gonna go ride on the road, I took my bike off, got the wheel on, ready to go. My friend Jason was like, dude, like, come on, we'll hit like a 50-mile ride. I'm like, sure, that sounds crazy. He ends up almost getting like hit by a car the morning of on his bike.
Yeah.
And was fine, had some bumps and bruises, but was good. He's like, dude, I'm not gonna make it. My bike's all jacked up. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I hope you're okay. And then that was my sign to park it back right on the trainer. And it didn't leave after that. And so no coach, just through my own research, I took the same frameworks of like how to scale up a marathon prep, I guess, expedited it into a 6-week Ironman prep. While I could not really run, I was running maybe 5 to 10 miles a week. So
Post marathon.
post marathon. And yeah, I have a whole log on my phone of Google Sheets of all the miles I ran, or excuse me, the miles I ran, the miles I biked, and the yards I swam in the 6 weeks. And we ended up doing, I think it was 11 hours and 42 minutes, something like that.
That is insane.
That was the first big thing where I was like, I didn't know this is like what pain feels like.
Yeah.
I've hurt in some races, but I've never hurt like that at so many different times throughout a race.
Yeah.
And never have wanted to quit more in my life. That answer changes now after some of the races I've done, but that race was the first big thing where I'm like, okay, I could do a lot. I could do a lot more than I think. And it was just eliminating that self-disbelief. And that was the first thing about that. And my parents too, they were so worried that because my dad did triathlons as a kid, not as a kid, like growing up, and they were so worried about the swim.
Yeah. Everyone
Rightfully
is.
so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. But I just kept telling them, like, just trust me, like, just let me do this. Like, I'm still gonna do it whether you hate me or not, whether you disown me or not. I'm still gonna do this race.
Yeah.
Just, I asked for your support. That's it. And they came out and they helped and supported, and it was just them two there that were watching, and supporting on the runs and everything. And yeah, that was honestly a big journey, or a big jump in my social media journey too. I gained a lot of followers from that.
Yeah.
From that race, that video.
Yeah.
And I'm just like getting flashbacks from the race.
Crazy.
That a crazy
Well, I
time.
want to like preface that obviously we're not encouraging anyone to
No.
do a 6 week training, but also you had just done a marathon. So it's not like you were completely out of
Yeah,
shape.
yeah, yeah.
You're somebody that's been doing races and you're lifting. Like you're a strong person.
Yep.
I also want to just make note that like you weren't disrespecting the distance. You just didn't know what to expect because you hadn't done a half. You hadn't done even an Olympic try. And in the, in your training, you jumped into a sprint. So at least you got a little bit of understanding of like transitions.
Yeah.
But the full Ironman distance and is extremely difficult, obviously, that but to do it coming off injury, still injured, 6 weeks training, not doing any biking outside. I agree with you, or not even agree with, I mean, I don't do open water swim training. I don't care to. I hate open water swimming as someone who swam my whole life. Pool all day. I only open water swim on race day.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not trying to go pro. I don't think I need to. I don't care enough, honestly, to do open water swim on my own. Also, I'm not jumping in the Hudson River.
Nope, definitely not.
Absolutely not.
I don't recommend that.
But the not riding outside is crazy. I would never want to spend as much time as you did on an indoor bike. But then to also finish in the time that you did is incredible, insane. As someone who eventually one day will do one, I probably will never hit the time that you
Don't
did.
say that.
No, I genuinely, I'm being realistic. I also just don't care to go that fast.
Okay.
Realistically. I just know it hurts. Either way, it's going to hurt. But like trying to go as fast as that isn't for me. But there are people like you that exist that will jump into things and do things. So I think it's cool that you're telling your story and you're being honest about it.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be people that hear this and say, that's crazy, or maybe that's disrespectful, or I would never do that. And like everyone's going to have their opinions on it. But I just think you're not the only one that's probably ever done that. Yeah. You're not the only one that's ever going to do that. And
I
just
tried
do
to
it.
Find people. I was like, I asked friends of friends, like triathletes. I'm like, do you guys know anybody that has had a 6 weeks block that like maybe ran a marathon just before, might have not, like so I could talk to them and just see like,
no,
is it possible? Like, can it, like, I really, there was nobody.
I hope someone comes forward because I would love to hear from somebody else that
what
maybe
the shortest
has done.
block was. That somebody
what's
did,
the shortest block? Not encouraging to do that, obviously, but
no.
I'm just saying I can't imagine that you're the only one that's done that, because there are people, even when I did my ultra, that exist off social media that do these things
Savages,
for fun.
Yeah.
That is the perfect word. They are absolute savages. They go out and they rip 100 miles on Saturdays for fun.
Yeah.
How do you balance strength training with high mileage without burning out?
Make your hard days hard. Make your hard days hard. So any big speed workouts is usually where I'll tag in my lower body sessions. And there's days that are meant to be easy. Your easy runs should be easy. My easy runs, and I'll do an upper lift or lower lift, or excuse me, not lower lift. I'll do my upper lifts then, but my speed days, like I know going to bed Monday night, Tuesday morning is like my speed workout, and then I go into a lower body lift. My CNS is going to be shot the rest of the day. Like I'm going to be tired, whatever. I'll be able to recover then for my long run on Saturday. So overall umbrella, just make your hard days hard. I don't need to really get into like the nitty gritty of like, hey, here's how my schedule works. But if you just follow that, and now I'm not saying make your hard days hard, go do a lower body lift after a long run, stick to maybe the speed sessions or maybe the day after or something like that. But yeah, that's kind of how I've stacked it up and how I've done it thus far. And it's helped a lot with.
I think that's literally black and white. It's so easy. Yeah. Make your hard days hard, your easy days easy.
Yeah.
I think some people, the hard days hard, I think people can grasp. I think, they feel it, all the things. The easy days, I think, is where people go wrong the most, is because they still don't take it as easy as they want. Because some days let's just say for running specifically, some days your easy pace could be a 9-minute mile.
Yeah.
Some days it might be a 10-30-minute mile. And I think most of us have an ego where we don't want to see certain numbers on our watch. And so we push a little harder. What would you say to people that feel that?
I could say a lot of things. I've talked to people that work VO2 max facilities and people that are super knowledgeable. It's what they do. You should be able to run every single one of your easy runs without having to look at your watch. Your heart rate truly does not matter if the effort feels easy. If you are able to say, hey, this feels easy, whatever the pace is at, this effort feels easy, I'm able to call my friend up and have a conversation the entire time, then that is fine. What I've learned over time, and if my friend Abu is watching this, he's also been preaching about this a lot too. There's zones, specific zones. If you get your VO2 max tested, yes, you're going to know your zones. That's the thing too. People say zone 2 and they don't even know what their actual zone 2 is. So that's why it's easy runs, hard runs, and we break it down in between that. So stop being attached to that, to just, oh, zone 2 is 130 to 155. It's probably not for a lot of you.
Yeah.
So I have 2 clients where their zone 2 is technically zone 2 after their VO2 max was tested is a 155 to a 169. So it's completely different.
Yeah.
You know? So disregard that. You need to get used to sectioning off, what is my threshold effort feel like? What does my easy effort feel like? What does my race pace for marathon effort feel like? And get used to these efforts. And so that when you are racing, when you are doing it, you know where you should be at without even having to look. I know you're going to look race day. You're supposed to. You want to hit a certain time. You got to be on it. But come race day, there's going to be this scale where what I recommend for everybody, this is what I do in all my marathons. Before you look at the pace you're at, ask yourself, what pace do I feel like I'm at? And if you're check and you're right on pace, like let's say you're trying to average a 6:15 pace or per mile, it's a goal down the road. And it was just a number that popped in my head. But let's say you're trying to average 8-minute pace.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I feel like I'm at like an 8:05. You look and you're right there, perfect. There comes a point in the race where effort is gonna feel like a lot harder, but you're barely hanging on to your race pace. And as that, I guess, stretches apart, that's where you're now in the thick of the race. And that's where it's going to come down to not so much of like, yes, you're pushing a hard effort because you're going as hard as you can, but the pace is barely hanging on. But it's more so like that is where your race begins. If your effort, where you feel you're at and where your pace is actually at, is matching up, you're fine.
You're cruising.
Prolong that as long as you can. Keep that going as long as you can. Eventually, it will separate. When it does separate, that is your race now, whether it's mile 7, whether it's mile 16, whether it's mile 21, you know, or whether it's in a half marathon, a mile 10, mile 9, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I recommend everybody, like, before you check your watch when you're running, where do I feel like I'm at? Where does this effort feel like I'm at? And if you're way off, then you got to try to get it back to equilibrium and figure it out.
I like that. I like the analogy. When it comes to recovery, what does that actually look like for you? Is there anything that you do consistently or inconsistently that you like?
I love my Therabody boots. Therabody Jets Boots Pro Plus.
Okay, well, I'm a high price girl, but compression boots. For anyone who doesn't know what Therabody are high price, they're compression boots. They look like space boots.
But these have red light, vibration, and compression.
Okay.
Yeah. Slay. They're a little bougie. But outside of that, I used to do all the cold plunges and everything. And not that I'm knocking them and saunas. I just, truthfully, the way I go about my day, like, if I say, hey, I'm going to go in the sauna for 30 minutes, I'm like, I don't have enough time. I have enough time to do an hour and a half lift, but an hour run, but I don't have enough time to do that. And so sleep has been the number one thing.
Yes.
Sleep has been the number one thing for me.
So underrated.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, no, just go to bed earlier.
Yeah.
Truly.
Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time.
Yeah.
If your schedule permits. And you'll feel significantly better.
Yeah. I was actually just having this conversation about contrast therapy, cold plunges and saunas. I love how I feel when I'm done with contrast therapy for sure. Do I think it does anything physically? I don't know. I've never really thought, I honestly don't think about it like that. But I will say if someone is even just trying to get a little bit more mental strength.
Start with that.
Start with a cold plunge.
Yeah.
30 seconds. Because when you get out, you realize you could do hard things. It's not easy to sit in there for 30 seconds or a minute in 35-degree water.
That's cold.
You know, it's cold.
That's cold.
If you could do it, if you have the access to it and that feels good for you, like do it. I always recommend compression boots. I say wait for the sales and it's an investment, but I've had the same pair for probably 8 years and they still last. And I think everyone in and out of sports should have them.
I agree.
Like just walking around, like get the blood flowing, you know?
I agree. I mean, it's being around a lot of physical therapists for a while and plus having a great relationship with my physical therapist. He was been my guy since high school through football and everything. And like a lot of PTs, and I'm not speaking as a PT, but they do a lot of manual therapy. And so it's a lot of just flushing the legs out and working on certain areas. And although compression is not that, the same principle is right there where it's like some of the boots will work on compression building up. And like you want to flush it all back up. And the principle just stays the same pretty much of like.
So good. And they feel great.
I throw those on, I will fall asleep.
Yes, agree. I kind of want to talk a little bit about mental, like what's going on.
I'm crazy.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit. You have to be crazy to do the things that you're doing.
You're crazy. We're all crazy though.
What goes through your head during the hardest part of an ultra?
Two things. One, and they're both very similar. One, I repeat to myself, this is what you asked for, and this is what you wanted. You wanted to do this, and you're training. Well, this is what you asked for, and this is what you trained for. I can't argue with either of those statements as I'm going, because this is what I've trained weeks for, and this is what I asked for. I knew this was going to happen coming to the race, and so here we are. So now what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's really it. There's no magic. You got this. You can do this.
No.
I'm more of like a negative self-talk person to myself.
You're
like,
a David Goggins.
Yeah. Like,
who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah. Like it's, you drop here, like nobody's going to come find you, and you're just going to become part of the ecosystem.
People will come find you, I'm sure.
But yeah, this is what you asked for, and this is what you trained for. Like that's it. I mean, that should be, if your training really, was what you said it was going to be, that should be enough for you to take another step, and then another one. If you could take another, and you keep going. So, as long as I'm able to move forward, the race isn't over yet. It could be clocking a 35-minute mile, which I did twice.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not done.
Have you ever wanted to quit mid-race?
Yes.
Have you ever gotten close to it, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When?
Leadville.
Oh.
Backside of Hope Pass. That is the biggest part of the climb. That is at mile 57, 58.
Okay.
You're climbing, I think it's about 2,000 feet in 2 miles.
I did 2,000 feet in 3, so I can only, and that's probably at
that's still.
Yeah, but you're at are you at
That's
an
a good taste of it.
elevation?
Oh, that you're climbing to 12,500 feet.
Yeah, that's more than, but I'm just trying to.
And it was at mile 56. So it was like
That's
halfway.
insane.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how steep that is in a short amount of time.
Put your treadmill on 20% and you'll get a little taste of a 20% incline.
Treadmills go up to 20%.
Some special
Does the
ones.
Peloton?
Peloton goes up to 12.
12.
Most treadmills go up to 12.
Okay.
But if you find a treadmill that goes up to 20%, put that on 20% and just walk a little bit
No.
and see
No, thank you.
see how it feels. But yeah, right there, the backside of Hope Pass, at this point, I knew my oxygen was low by the electricity I felt throughout my body at some points. I wasn't able to stomach anything. I could only take half an inhale, and my crew was in for the next 8 miles. And so that was the longest portion where you're alone for, is mile 42 to mile 62. They were there
Oh my
at
gosh.
Twin Lakes for like 8 hours waiting for me. And there's no communication because there's no service up there. All they would know if I'm back is if they see me running back, or if the tracker picks up once I get down the mountain, or if they see me in a van heading back to, camp or back to the hospital, whatever it is. And a lot of it was, I mean, I had to sit down on some rocks and just, one, appreciate the view behind me because it was beautiful, but two, like, I don't know how much more steps I could take, and I keep looking up, there's so many more switchbacks, and I'm like, it's endless. And so I stopped looking up, and people are passing me as they're hiking up. I'm like, this is frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I can't move at all. And that was the closest I was really to just stopping. But at that point, if I stopped on a rock, like, nobody's gonna
you're
save me.
stuck.
I'm in the middle of the climb. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me just get to the top, or let me get to this next switchback, and then the next one. Let me get to the top. Once I'm at the top, though, there's an aid station right down the hill a little bit. Let me get there. I'll lay down for a second, and that's what I did. I laid down, had some mashed potatoes, tried to take whatever they had there because fueling was not working. My stomach was settling a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, that's a big win. I didn't have a big win in the past 5 hours. Like, now let me just get down this mountain. And then I was just looking forward to getting a pacer at that point, because you can't have a pacer until mile 62. So my crew revived me when I got back, and then it was a whole new race. I put together my best legs yet after that. Besides mile 82, that was where things went downhill again. But
I think that's interesting, because in races like that, and I've only gotten a taste of that, is like, you kind of literally just have to keep going. Like, you cannot quit.
Yeah.
Versus, let's just say, the New York City Marathon, you can quit at any point because you can literally walk off course and go home. You could go to a hotel. Like, there's civilization at most races, where this, like, you have no service. Search and rescue would take hours to get to you. Like, you literally have to keep going.
Have to.
Yeah.
It was to the point where, like, I literally can't stop, because who's going to get me?
And no offense to even Ironmans or anything like that, but like, that's why ultra runners, I think, are a different breed and savage, because you have no way out. Like, you really don't. Otherwise, you're waiting in the middle of the woods by yourself for hours.
Yeah, that's why I don't talk about this a lot, but I mentioned it briefly, I think, maybe a week or two ago. Now, there's nothing against training with people. I think it's awesome to have a community you train with. I think it is great to go on your long runs with people, but you need to put in enough hours by yourself Because if not, and you're on the backside of Hope Pass and there's nobody else there, you are going to quit like this because you are not now riding off of Paul next to me who's helping me get up this climb. It's if you have not gone up that climb in training enough by yourself, it's not going to happen race day, because you relied on somebody else. You're alone. Like that is it. And so people need to start putting in more hours by themselves.
I like that. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think there's a nice balance of you can train with people, even if it's just like they come in for a couple of miles
Yeah,
here and there on
yeah.
a long run. But like when I was training for Boston and I knew I wanted to PR, all my long runs for the most part, especially long run workouts, were done alone.
Yeah.
And those were my hardest runs. So yeah, I think that there's a nice balance of sure, train with people, but you do need to be putting in the time by yourself.
Absolutely.
How do you handle days when the motivation isn't there?
Just do it. You don't worry about your emotions. Just do it.
What's the hardest thing you've ever done physically?
Leadville 100.
What's one thing about ultra running that people don't understand?
You got to be comfortable with being alone.
I mean, that's literally like kind of what we were
What we
just
just
talking about.
said, yeah.
Yeah. If someone wants to run their first ultra, what's step one?
A lot of time on feet. Get a lot of time on feet.
Can you be strong and have endurance, or do you have to sacrifice one?
You can be strong and have endurance. Yeah.
I think
Because I think everybody's body is different and we'll handle it differently. Like what works for me may not work for you, but it might work for her. It might work for somebody else. So yeah, I think so.
can. What's a hot take in the fitness industry right now?
Hot take in the fitness industry. A lot of people act like they're about it, but they're really not about it.
I hope people watch this episode and realize that that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because someone like you literally do what you say you're going to do. And there's so many people that say they're going to do things and they don't.
Yeah, not even like just with doing things, but like a lot of people act like there's somebody that they're not. And we don't got to get into it, but.
What do you think about the term hybrid athlete?
I think, here's the thing.
I know what I think.
Yeah. I think Nick Bear, this stems from Nick Bear. Nick Bear was basically my Lord and Savior getting into running in 2022. I had no coach. I had Nick Bear's YouTube videos. That is how I ran my first marathon. I would watch his YouTube video. I would pause it when he would write the workouts up, and I would do those exact workouts, follow the same exact split, run the same shoes he wore, the same training, like the gels and everything, because I had no clue what I was doing. But he was the guy that led because he put himself out there. And I'm like, this is awesome. And I was lifting and running at the same time too. I'm like, I want to be able to lift and do this. And so I gravitate to that. Now you say Nick Bear, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, like get the whole hybrid athlete thing, the go one more. You have people making go one less hats. Like,
Oh my God. I don't really know who he is, to be honest.
Nick Bear?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. Is that
Okay.
surprising?
yeah.
I live in a bubble. I literally live in a bubble. I don't really know a lot of these people that exist.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I mean, I have nothing bad against him, but because of him pushing the hybrid athlete type of thing, it has brought so many people out to then mimic what he does, and they're posting about it and they're calling themselves hybrid athletes. And then this is where the unnecessary hate comes in from losers who just have nothing better to do, where they're like, it's not a hybrid athlete, you just run and lift. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You're running and lifting, call it a hybrid athlete. You're running and lifting, hey, I just run and lift. How does that affect you in any way?
Yeah.
And if it is getting people to do more physically fit stuff and physically active, or maybe sign up for their first race, stop being a loser. Like,
Yeah.
So the people who have a problem with the term hybrid athlete have a lot going on internally that they're not talking about and taking out other people. I think if it is getting people to maybe document their journey and how Nick Bear did and post his marathon journey and things, amazing. They're doing something they've never done before. If it's getting people to sign up for a first race, amazing. They're doing something they've never done before. So a lot of these people that do have problems with it, I would love to have a conversation with them and sit down like this.
Yeah.
But a lot of people won't do that.
No.
Because again, a lot of people aren't what they say they are and aren't about it. So
I think when hybrid athlete first started becoming popular, I was like, I've been a hybrid athlete my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of like at first not okay, now there's a term for it. Then I was like, had the realization of like, who cares what people call it if it's gonna get people to want to run and lift?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do one or the other, right? Where some people they only lift and they don't do any cardio. So yeah, you might be strong, but you're heart might not be,
Yeah.
conditioned, and, you walk up a flight of stairs and you're out of breath. And then you have vice versa, people who maybe only run and then they don't lift. If hybrid athlete is going to get these people to start lifting and running and just being healthy, who cares what anyone calls it?
It's turning the lifters into runners, but the lifters probably didn't think they could do it until they saw Luke Hopkins. And Luke Hopkins, if he's watching this by chance, awesome guy, right? He's a good epitome of that, of like just doing it, just doing the thing every single time. And I think he's 23, maybe 22, something like that. And people look at these guys and they're like, wow, if he could do it, I could also go from powerlifting and then go do an Ironman and run and do this. And how can you hate on that?
There's worse things to be called.
Yeah.
No,
there definitely is.
Okay. I'm really excited for this. What do you think about the High Rocks haters?
I think they need to get a life. I think they need to get a life because first off, the people that are hating on High Rocks, none of them have done a High Rocks. They've only done something close to it, which would be somewhere in a CrossFit competition. Most of the hate is coming from people who've never done it or people in the CrossFit field that don't like the fact that High Rocks is now blowing up and gaining all this attention and maybe pulling people away from it. But they're so stuck in their own ways that they don't want to try something new because it's stupid and it's very one-dimensional. The race doesn't change. High Rocks, you know exactly where you're getting compared to CrossFit. You don't know the workout until maybe a few hours prior or a day prior, whatever it is. So you need to be ready for everything. But the matter of the fact is, if you are doing any race and you give 100%, it is going to be very hard. Now, if you're doing High Rocks and you have to do all these movements on top of running a hard effort, that race is going to be one of the hardest hours you've ever done. And the thing is, majority of CrossFit people too, they're not running as much compared to people who are training for obviously a marathon, half marathon and High Rocks training go hand in hand volume wise. And so that's another thing too, where it's like, it's two different disciplines of fitness. If you love CrossFit, stick with CrossFit, but don't hate on High Rocks because you've never done it before or because it's stupid or you're doing burpee broad jumps, like whatever, that's dumb. Like, give it a try. Give it a try and then formulate your opinion. I cannot listen to anybody who gives an opinion on something who has not done it before.
Yes. Like if you've done the race and you don't like it, okay, great. Then you don't ever do it again.
Tell me why.
But why are you upset at the fact that people are getting into a sport that feels accessible to them? They maybe don't want to do a half marathon, but maybe they want to, get into running.
Some type of running, yeah.
They want to do a High Rocks because it also means that they're going to get stronger. Why are you hating on people for trying to better themselves? Nobody that shows up to High Rocks is there to not be healthy, right? Like everyone wants to show up healthy. They want to work out to get to that point. Maybe they'll, whatever, maybe they don't train as much as they should before they get into these things. And that's any race and no matter what. Why are we hating on people for trying to better themselves?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. That's the number one reason where I tell people it's like High Rocks is so entry level for anybody. And people, if you tell them, hey, go run 5 miles, and be like, oh, I've never done that before. But in High Rocks, you're running over 5 miles. So it's a disguised way of like, hey, you got to run a little bit. And then on top of just all the stations and everything, it's like, with it being entry level, there is the caveat to it where it's like there's going to be a lot of people who aren't doing the correct form, who are missing runs, who are getting no reps or aren't getting no reps but should be no reps, and all these other things. And so it's going to happen though. But the people do High Rocks because nothing against CrossFit again, like there's a lot of technical movements in CrossFit, snatches, the cleans, everything that requires, learning about it and doing all this stuff and practicing. Not that you're not practicing High Rocks, but High Rocks is like, hey, if I'm in the gym and I'm running a little bit, I could probably do it. Now, how fast you're doing it is a big difference. And if you do High Rocks and you say, oh, that was easy, you did not push hard.
And it's also like there's so many different fitness levels. If you've ever gone to a High Rocks and watch it, you'll see that there are so many different fitness levels. You'll also see who's a runner first and who's a lifter first. Like, I think it's just really cool. There's always going to be haters no matter what, but the High Rocks the High Rocks hate just blows my mind because it's just it's another form of fitness that we should allow people to get into without judgment. What's your opinion on AI training programs, specifically running?
These are good questions.
I think we might disagree a little bit on this.
Yeah. I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the person, their fitness level, and what they're doing. If you want somebody to give a general guidance to, but don't want the actual hand of like a person coach or like a human coach, that's fine. But I will say the one thing that like Rana and other things lack is just the human aspect of coaching, and that can't be replicated. You can replicate the best training plans, the best frameworks, the best philosophies, but there's no pivoting and adjusting based off of Maria, who is coming in with no miles under her belt, but wants to run a marathon in 10 weeks, and this is the plan you give. It's like, okay, that's going to be drawn up a lot of different ways, whether it's a human doing it, whether it's AI. I think it's good for some people if they just need that structure. But I will always recommend, like, if you're really going for like PRs and like maybe even somebody training for like, I don't know, like a super fast, like 240 or like a 245 or 250, like usually that's where you see more, I would say, of the human coaching compared to AI. And I just think you can't replicate the relationship built with the human compared to, and it also keeps you more accountable too. It's like, you're programming for me. It's like, I can't let Mallory down because she programmed this whole entire week, put some thought into it. I just have to execute now. Compared to, it's like, oh, I have this and that, I'll do it. But
it's a lot easier to lie to an app than it is to a coach.
Yes.
So my biggest thing with the haters of AI is that most of them are probably getting injured themselves or know people that got injured. We've lost the art of critical thinking and common sense. What makes me really laugh about this whole hateful over AI, like, listen, I am not pro AI, like anything like that, but when I started doing marathons, my training programs came from a book. Barnes and Noble, my dad, Marathon for Dummies. That is where it came from. And so you took it as a template, as an idea, and you know, in these books, it had 12-week, 18-week, 20-week marathon training programs. And it would tell you mileage or time, what you should shoot for, paces you should shoot for, or it would go based on effort sometimes. And then we had to go based off of that. I would use my common sense, and I would also be honest with where I was in that moment. And the difference, that I would say the positive between what we used to do back then with going from a book and then comparing it to AI is these platforms do ask you, if you're putting in your watch times, it'll say, hey, it'll alert you, right? A pop-up will come up, because I've used Rona for 2 years now. A pop-up will come up, and it does hurt your ego a little bit, and it say, hey, we noticed that you're actually not hitting these paces. Do you want us to update it for you? Most people, what do? No, because their ego gets hurt and they don't want to have to slower, like their paces slow down or whatever. That's what bothers me of those two things. You know what I mean? Because it's like they're lacking critical thinking, because if they did have a human coach, that coach would literally change their platform.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're probably looking at stats, and that's what these AI platforms are now doing. Maybe they didn't do them when they first launched. They're going to learn no matter what. And I'm not saying go use an AI platform, but I think the people that hate these platforms, you're just making it so hard for people who just want to get into a sport.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't leading with like,
don't do it.
I never said it's terrible. I never said nobody should do it. I've always said, like, depends on who's looking for it and like what are they looking for. If they need structure and guidance and they want something to tailor it to their personal numbers and everything, do it without having to pay the price of a coach. You know, do that. And if that gets you to run your first marathon, do whatever, great. But the critical thinking part, I could talk about that for a long time, because wow, it's incredible, truthfully, how you can't decipher certain decisions of like, hey, I feel terrible, but it's telling me to do a speed workout right now. Maybe I should, and my knees bother me, maybe I should cut that and hop on the bike instead. Maybe I should move that a few days later. Or maybe I should just take this week, go on the bike instead, because the bike's the same type of fitness as running, just less load on the joints. Maybe I should go see a physical therapist instead of trying just to hit everything in the front. And yeah, so I agree heavily with that.
Yeah.
The critical thinking.
Like, no, if you're going from a book, you're going from an AI platform, or you're going from a person, no matter what, you have to use common sense. You have to be honest with yourself. And then my other thing is, like, some people just don't want to have the pressure of reporting to somebody. That's why I think having other options is very important, and why we cannot hate them. I think we just need to be a little bit more open-minded and just be honest. Be like, hey, that's great if you want to use this program, but just know that, like, maybe don't follow it black and white, and that this is the end all be all. If it says do a speed workout and you're not feeling good, don't do it. Don't do it. So yeah, I think that there's pros and cons to all types of, you know, platforms and things.
Even for human coaches, there's pros and cons too. You know, it's
agree.
But again, it's like you have the ability to make your own decision based on that, make your own opinion on that. Try out the AI platforms, see if you like it. If not, hey, maybe I'll look for a human coach. Maybe I'll
You
see
also
that.
could bounce between the two. Maybe when you have a huge PR, you work for a coach in maintenance or maybe a smaller race, like a different time frame, you can go to a platform.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why it has to be one or the other. Like, I'm anti this. You have to do. Some people can't afford a coach.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah.
And so
yeah.
let's just maybe let people into the sport however they can do it. If they can get a coach and they want a coach, let them. If they have to buy a $10 book from Barnes & Noble to give them, you know, a plan, go for it. If they can spend $20 a month on a platform, go for it. If they want to use ChatGPT to write them up a program, go for it. Just
ask the right questions on
yes, and
ChatGPT.
just listen to your body. That's the other thing with technology is people stopped listening to their body. What you said earlier about like effort.
Yeah.
I go based on effort. I never look, which is, I'm not saying don't do that, but I never look at my heart rate because I'm like, it always shows I'm in the red and I feel fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I need to get a VO2 test. I'm actually kind of scared to do one.
They're hard.
Yes, I know, and I don't want to do it.
They're hard.
Okay. Well, closing out, is there anything that you are working on professionally or personally that you'd like to share with everyone?
Besides just starting out at the gym, Top Notch Performance Club, that's in Teaneck, New Jersey, and we're building it up from ground zero. And so, you know, I'm offering one-on-one coaching, semi-private, group classes. We're doing like hybrid classes, technically high rocks classes, but we have to say hybrid.
Yep.
Or God forbid I say hybrid, and then somebody who's a hybrid athlete hater, they're gonna say like, no, I'm not going. And then with Vitalizer, our run club, right over the river, in Hoboken, we host a yearly retreat. And this year, oh boy, what was the date? It's in June. I should know this. It's in June. But we are hosting a retreat on Long Beach and at the Allegria Hotel, I think it's called. And so it's a 3-day event. Saturday is like the main day. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is the main day where we do Vitalizer games. We have speakers come, all these things. It's upwards of like close to 30 to 50 people usually each time. This is our third time doing this, first time at this location. First 2 years were amazing, and signups are out now, and we're trying to just again kind of coordinate just an awesome group of people like we've done the first 2 years. And now it's more local, I would say too. It's not as, you don't have to drive like 3 hours to Windham, New York. So
yeah,
very excited about that. And then right now, training wise, just training for High Rocks. I have Miami next week, pro solo, and then we're doing New York City, pro solo and mixed. And then we have Worlds, and that'll be my last High Rocks race for the year, ideally. And then we'll get into the next type of training block.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what the next one is, or are you keeping it hush?
Sub 240 marathon.
Oh, what's your fastest now?
248.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Chicago.
So you're looking to.
But the past 2 marathons that I've like PR'd, I haven't actually had like, hey, 14-week training block, 12-week training block, 16-week training block. It was always coming off of something and having 6 to 8 weeks to make something happen. So I'm excited to actually put in I've never had a 16-week block for any race. This will be my first one, ideally.
Meaning like your longest?
Longest, yeah. My longest training block was, I think, 13 weeks for any race I've done.
You are literally an alien. Like, you are one of a kind.
But that, though, makes me excited because it's like, this is
new.
This is new. It's so exciting. It's like, who knows what the fitness could be?
Who knows what 16 weeks is going to look like?
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, yeah, we have an ultra in November, and that'll be probably the last race for the year.
Oh my God. As if that's like not enough. I mean, you're doing
this
so
is a
much.
very low intensity type of year. Although High Rocks is super high intensity, but this is a race wise. I'm keeping it. My goal this year was to say no to a lot of things, and I've done just that, and I'm very happy with that. High Rocks focus for the first 6 months, getting fast at a longer distance for the last 6 months.
Yeah,
that's how we're cutting it, and we're sticking to it.
Oh my God. Well, good luck to that.
Thank
and you. I do just want to say thank you, obviously, so much for coming on here. I think a lot of people are going to listen to this. They're obviously going to learn a lot about you, but I think it's good to hear from someone who puts their money where their mouth is. There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. There's a lot of people that talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And you genuinely do that in everything. And I'm also just really excited to see like where you continue to go beyond what you've already done, which is basically everything. So thank you so much for coming on. And I hope that you enjoyed this, sharing your
Yeah.
story a little bit.
No, I mean, the feeling's mutual. Seriously, likewise for both you and Trevor too. Like I love watching you guys and what you're doing, what you're training for. Hopefully, Trevor gets healthy soon. And
Yes, please.
this was awesome. I mean, I've been on, like I said, a handful of podcasts, but this was probably like I want to say like the most. You asked such good questions, so it was awesome. I had a very good time, so I do
Well,
appreciate it.
it's nice to talk to someone that is like
Yeah,
in the same
I think that's why.
world.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
definitely it does help. But again, as someone, I can't believe I'm saying that like as a 31-year-old looking up to a 26-year-old is crazy. I never thought I'd say that, but I genuinely do look up to you in this
Thank
ultra
you.
space as I
Yeah,
continue to dip their toes in. And maybe people that are also interested in this ultra space are now going to have somebody to look to.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do. Thank you.